Hello, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. I forgot that I have to zip up my sweater because I didn't think I'd be streaming today, so I'm wearing a green shirt. I only wear my green shirts when I'm not streaming, but alas, here we are. You know, it's kind of funny. Maybe we leave it on. Maybe we leave it visible, yeah? It's kind of funny. Okay, so what's going on with me? I wasn't supposed to be streaming. Why am I streaming? Well, I spent all week, like, grinding out my front-to-back video. I have a demo reel exported. I just have some, like, I'm gonna watch through it tonight with some friends. And I haven't added the music yet. There's, like, some source, like, attribution thing. There's no, like, bibliography, right? Because I like to include, a note on where all my clips came from. I think it's very important to cite my sources. And, like, you know, I'm gonna catch, like, all the little things I can do. But I've been so busy doing that I have a team practice coming up because our team is starting to meet together and we're starting to solve some of our next problems. And then I remembered, god damn it. Oh, right, I forgot on purpose. God damn it, there was a patch, and I haven't read the patch, and I have to know. So my practice starts in about 50 minutes, and I'm the guy who's supposed to know things and to have a plan of, like, what we're gonna do. So, alas, here we are. Patch 12.23. We are going to try to speedrun it. As a reminder to everybody, if it's your first time here, this is not the patch show where we necessarily have an encyclopedic knowledge, where we know, like, absolutely everything that's going on. I'm going to be looking at this from the perspective of somebody who is identifying things to test and problems to solve for amateur play. Whether that's IBS, whether that's gold, whether that's plat, diamond, masters, doesn't matter. We are looking at this from an amateur clash flex perspective. So we have all these ARAM changes, which we're going to ignore for now, even though they look really cool. Like, I'll read these later. They're not relevant to me at this moment. I know they added hex gates. I know they added some, like, tower stuff. They added, like, tenacity stuff. It looks really, really exciting. And some more bushes. Okay. What did they do to the items? Moss Stomper, which, yes, was... So, I think... What did I say last time? I'm just gonna do this because... Okay, good. So, I didn't want to, like, expose stuff onto my screen here. I said the pets... What did I say? Moss Stomper, I said it would be the Generalist. Red Pet, Scorchclaw, projected to be valuable only for longer-ranged mage junglers who aren't close enough to combat to benefit from Green Pet. It looks like that I was a little bit wrong because Green Pet just turned out to be so overwhelmingly strong while the damage of Scorchclaw was, like, really, really underwhelming. And I said Gust Walker, the blue pet, is a solo queue stomper if it creates opportunities for its core users. That might be its only value in competitive play. Like, it's a non-team fight thing. Like, does that give us control stuff? Cool. So, yeah, they agreed. Moss Stomper's the best. They actually really cut the tenacity. So the tenacity buff is now 1.5 seconds. I don't think that the other options become more appealing just because this lost some tenacity, because the shield is still basically effective health in every fight. So, I think there's no strategic changes with that. Oh, and keep in mind, I have not listened to anybody else's thoughts on the patch. I haven't watched any rundowns from somebody like LS or Freak or anyone, depending on, like, who else you may follow. I don't know what they said. So, Ravenous Hydra. AoE splash damage is going down from 60 to 50, or 30 to 25, which is very good because that was, like, grossly overwhelming. I saw a Twitter clip at one point where they were testing damage, and the cleave was just outperforming 2-item builds, which is kind of nutty. And then the Omnivamp from stacks is removed. So rest in peace, 13% Omnivamp on one item. We will not miss you. Is this meaningful? So what they did on the last patch was Ravenous Hydra's... I mean, this is still significantly higher than, like, what it used to be, right? If I remember correctly, here, I should prepare a lolwiki bit. It went from... Yeah, so it was like, you were basically, it's still way better in virtually every situation. So the damage is still kind of excessive, and the Omnivamp is still a relevant factor, and this item should stay pretty strong, and at first I was going to underrate this because I thought this was the biggest problem, and I wasn't factoring this in properly until I saw, like, that Twitter clip. I'm like, oh, okay. Alright, Sunfire Aegis. I said that this item sucks after removing Flame Touch. What happens now? The combined cost. Okay, so the cost of the item is going down by 100. The health is going up to 500, which... I mean, is 500 health on 2,700 gold, like actually pretty. It competes with Randuin's, which is, and it is more health for cheaper. It competes with Frozen Heart, which offers none. It competes with Thornmail, which is one of the better ones, like better armor options right now. 350 health for 2,700. Okay, so honestly, that's kind of interesting. So I said Sunfire was like really, really bad in most cases, and I was kind of coming up with some strategies to rush bombies and then just build your mythic, build other items, sit on the bombies. I thought tanks were kind of going in the direction where a single component would be really good. Like if you're a bombies rusher, if you're a catalyst rusher, steel caps aren't really a component, but same kind of thing. I thought maybe that would be good. But, you know, now I'm starting to kind of rethink my perspective. This is a health item. It's not an armor item, it's a health item. It's a health item that has armor on it now. I mean, when you compare it to Anathemas or something, what's the difference? Yeah, so like this is a pure health item, and you know, it's kind of hard to beat like 650 on 2,500, but now the Sunfire has, whoops, 50 armor, 500. It's a health item. It's a health item. I'm still not fond of the damage, and we know my stance on stat sticks, which is that the stats have to be kind of overwhelming, but I guess what I failed to factor in before, was that Bombies itself was still appealing. That's kind of what I discovered like a week into last patch. Like, oh wait, Bombies is actually really good. We're hearing that jungle tanks, their clear speed is like atrocious as the game goes on because the camps are too tanky. We're hearing that there's certain top laners that are really struggling to maintain like their waves. They're really struggling to farm because they were relying on Immolate so much. I don't think I'm super high on this still, at least with the old abusers of it that weren't like tanks that were just trying to get flame touch damage and stuff. Obviously this isn't good, but I'm now starting to realize that it's got a bit of a different a bit of a different niche. And I wonder if we don't feel bad. I mean, trying to build Heartsteel in this probably feels like shit because your stats are so awful. It's just raw health. But we don't really build much Heartsteel anyway because we discovered that that item was really good at just pub stomping. Jack Show post hotfix was really strong. Okay, I'm still not high on this for a generalist as defense, but maybe if you're like a top laner who has a shit ton of income and you just need some help, like maybe it actually doesn't feel bad to finish the item rather than just sitting on bombies now. But that's when I had to test. I had to figure out if it's worth it now that I have reframed the item in my head into something else. Okay. Amumu, despite his newfound companions in the jungle... Okay, yeah, sure. Jungle Amumu, Kaktavu. Bandage toss, mana going up. Okay. So they're trying to avoid buffing support because what they're doing is DPS is going up at high ranks, so that really does nothing to support. And this is a... What the hell? Base magic damage down, and then it goes up by 15 by endgame. So they're trying to get... So this is Jungle Amumu's first max, right? I don't see why they would need to shave off 5 damage, but I guess it's just to give this a more comfortable, like, you know, it's just straight plus 30, plus 30, plus 30, plus 30. Health growth going up too, but that would more affect top laner, so it's, I guess it affects everybody. Top lane of Mumu's not real. I mean, I'll see it when I believe it. I genuinely don't think Jungle Amumu, like, has a place still. Especially if it's clear. I mean, okay, wait, because what was the problem before? The problem with Jungle Amumu, actually, I just realized I never asked this question. And I've got to I have to speed run. I don't have a lot of time to spend on this one. The problem with Jungle Amumu before preseason, was that he would get really low, and his clear was kind of underwhelming, and then he would just kind of waddle around, and he was so susceptible to invades. Lethal invades are still totally fine. Early counter jungle invades are not super fine, although we also overreacted to that change, and counter jungling is definitely okay. I've seen, because I've been trying to keep up, I've been playing a lot lately, but I've been trying to keep up through like challenger VODs and stuff. There are definitely still a lot of counter jungle opportunities. Yeah, what I'll say is I'll believe it when I see it, because I haven't kept up with Amumu, so I don't believe that, because preseason didn't ship in a condition where health was no longer a factor in your clears. I think Amumu probably still has his same, like, susceptibility to lethal invades, and that could still be a pretty big problem. Cho'Gath. Lack of early access to immolate and overall tank item changes has resulted in a pretty sizable power loss for Cho. That does make sense, but don't forget AP Cho is also really strong. In order to help him feel like a good chonky monster again, we're putting power into his passive Mana Sustain. Mana restored on enemy kills from 3.5 to 4.7. Ooh. It's not huge, but ooh. Base damage up to... What? What? But Tank Cho is maxing E, and he's definitely not maxing W. He's maxing W last. What? Oh, okay. I'm kind of wondering how much this, like, tiny amount matters. It's like 1.2. That's like... No, this doesn't matter. Because that is only, like, early game. I mean, how fast is this scale? Oh, it scales faster than I realized. It does, like, scale linearly. I mean, this definitely feels good because it means Cho'Gath is the kind of champion who wants to ult off cooldown, actually. Like, especially once he gets, like, level 11 with some haste on him, trying to finish off your minion stacks feels really good. I mean, like, the base damage on this one is already absurd. The base damage on this one is now absurd. But, like, it's still more appealing to have the shorter cooldown that costs less. So you're still maxing Q second, or first. No, second, unless, like, because a lot of melee matchups. You thought it had always gone down with... Oh, sorry, your chat's in the wrong spot for today. My bad. You guys are being covered. Do you mean, like... Sorry, I'm too much in my own head, Prisma. You're gonna have to clarify. The ultimate. Oh, well, it used to a long time ago. And when did they nerf it? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Either way. So, Cho'Gath top has, like, for a long time been his weakest role. I looked at this, and if this was meaningful, I was thinking, oh, my Senna Cho'Gath lanes. Like, yes! I'm super happy about that. But I'm not really seeing it. This is... Yeah, this is going to be very small changes across the board. It's not going to, like, put a lot of power back into Tank Cho'Gath, which is what their intention was, although this is a nice thing to have. The thing that you need to get through on Cho'Gath is your lane phase, and we've established... Actually, we haven't established together. I think a lot of tank lane phases got nerfed because of that whole component issue where you have to rush items that just feel bad for the lane. Like, nobody likes to rush an Aegis. Nobody likes to rush, like, a Kindle Gem. Or some people do, but most people don't like to rush a Kindle Gem or a Giant's Belt or something for Heartsteel. Like, so you would rather be... Because Bombies was so good before. There's not a lot of tank components that have passives that help you lane, so the weak early laning tanks like Cho'Gath just feel really bad, and I don't think this solves those problems, so the mage Cho'Gath builds are still the big winners. Why is this so big? Fuck. Okay. He hasn't been living up to his unkillable late game fantasy. Yeah, because he's just a mid-game champion. The tank buster items come online late. True. Changes to his medical tools, Heartstopper, maximum... Oh, right, I forgot they were doing something to that. Okay, so base stats, base MR down, MR growth up. Base attack speed down, because apparently Mundo had, like, the fastest clear in the jungle right now. Attack damage growth down. Goes where he pleases. Now, like, it costs less health, and it heals less health. So it's just less impactful immediately when his passive pops, which I think is fine. It means you can't chunk him with CC as hard. Max health regen per 5 seconds. So, what? Stop nerfing! Oh, wait, non-linear progression. Okay, so I don't understand. Do you guys remember when Mundo passive used to be like 2% at level 1? Because something like that? Because they've just been nerfing this over and over and over and over again. So at least Mundo is the kind of tank that has ranged farming options with Q. I wonder if this is actually just really good for Senna Mundo as a bot lane. Because that's what I think immediately. I don't think, like, laning Mundo top, especially since, like, you know, Mundo's early stats are such an important part of his lane phase top lane. And, like, losing that feels awful. Oh, I have to hurry. Curse my need to, like, get to the bottom of everything. It's equal at 11 and then rapidly outpaces. And it does work in combat. It's like, okay. Health cost slightly up on this. Health cost up. Gray health healed after not taking damage. He now actually does heal. Damage stored as gray health is quite a lot higher in the first 0.75 seconds than 25% afterwards, which is really cool. Duration 3 seconds, so it's less. So this just feels really, really... I mean, I remember a long time ago when I was working on Day 1 Mundo, I figured that some people would be, like, leveling W second, and I never followed up on that, and now I think it's just very clearly a 1-point wonder. Blunt Force Trauma. Passive... wait. It's just straight up % maximum health now with no flat values. Huh. Health cost is slightly up. Cooldown is up. Bonus damage to monsters down, so they're trying to hit his clear speed. Missing health gained as maximum health is quite a lot higher. Wow. At all ranks, it's like plus 10 at rank 3. At rank 3, Mundo's R healing effects are increased by an additional 5%, but R no longer gives bonus AD. I mean, probably to compensate because this is going to become amazing. Okay, so you're always building Radiant Virtue now, right? You're always building Radiant Virtue. You're trying to get to late game and you're trying to be just the scaling menace. But the problem is, how do you get to the scaling menace part? Because you're... Oh, because you actually provide useful value to your teammates now that Radiant Virtue is in the game. Huh, that changes Mundo's identity a little bit. I want to explore that. This changes Mundo's identity a little bit. Mundo was like a... no, Paradox, we're right at the top right now. This changes Mundo from a very pure, like, skirmish aggro champion where you're just trying to brawl with people and you're trying to, like, create chaos and win the game before enemy tank buster items come online at, like, 2-3 items. And yeah, because now that you gain so much more max health, now that your AD scales with max health, Radiant Virtue feels really good. You could do, like, Anathema's Rush into, like, Virtue. Oh, shit. Okay, so we just have to figure out when he can lane, and that feels awesome, I think. Because here's some more skill expression. Again, I'm just concerned about the early stats, but if that's not his identity anymore, that's probably okay. Cool changes. I'm excited to see how they shake out, but I think that sounds reasonably strong. Xante's been a tad weak? No, the fuck he hasn't. Huh? Are you smoking multiple drugs? K'Sante's amazing. Like, K'Sante is an excellent champion, and my prediction came true. He would have the lowest release win rate all year, and then he would become great. And we would know he's great as long as you invested the time into him. And he became even better than I could have imagined, because it turns out Jack Show, the buffed Jack Show, once you're in Ultimate, K'Sante's like the one champion in the game who doesn't fall victim to these tank component issues. Whoa, because actually building Aegis is somehow good for him. So, what did he get? Health regen up, health growth up. That is really disgusting. E will now partially... Okay, cool. I mean, it's reasonably small, so it doesn't matter that they're buffing him. Oh yeah, and there were the Kassadin changes. I actually did watch some Kassadin footage. It's kind of neat. The shield strength is up a little bit, but it scales less with AP, and the shield is instant, which is cool. Ally and enemy spellcasts reduce ease cooldown by 1 second. It no longer requires a certain number of stacks, so you can actually just, in theory, go supersonic because you're leveling the second, right? Because now it's just a flat cooldown thing, and, like, in a team fight, you can just get it more often than every 5 seconds. Oh my god, he scales better. Now, I would imagine, just looking at this, that this feels good, although the loss of AP, like Kassadin's durability has already been hit over the years. He's already lost some passive strength in, like, one of his last nerfs. So it's a little scary that I don't think plus 20 compensates for like this AP unless he's really like going into the Roa user identity. This is amazing. It's just instant shield. Kryptonic Cat, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy your time with us. Yeah, maybe I'm like overestimating how much this will do, right? Because it's like most of this value is in lane phase anyway. Okay, so Kassadin's scaling is just better, and he should go supersonic if you can get him to the end game. But it sucks because one of the big things I learned from this last season is that amateur players like IBS, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, probably even Masters, but like arguably at that point you should know how to play it. But like these players don't know how to play control comps. I don't like my teams always struggle to play control comps because solo queue doesn't train you to do that. You have to explicitly practice that way, and most people don't think that way. Like, I may be a control player, but most people prefer to play, like, the basic team fights or, like, the really hard aggros that solo queue teaches. So, even though Kassadin looks significantly better, I'm not sure that he actually starts to make a splash in some of these, like, lower-level amateur scenes, like, or at least more than before, unless I'm, like, underestimating how IBS works, and they actually just skirmish so much, and Kassadin does get to 16 because no one can close the game. I'm gonna spend some time this season, like, studying IBS and studying Gold and, like, studying all these actual levels of play so I can be a more reputable source on those sorts of things. But that's kind of my base assumption. This looks amazing. Kane. We don't... True. He is. But you also have to play a very specific way when you have Kassadin on your team, and that specific way is how people are uncomfortable, right? Like, they're usually scared to do the R5 cast counter pick, but at the same time, sometimes they... Like, a lot of teams can't handle the pressure bleed that he gives, even if you do R5 him. Because it's uncomfortable to feel like you're on the back foot, and then if you make too many mistakes, like, you do just get snowballed on, right? That's at least my POV after the last season. So Shadow Assassin Kane is gaining some more damage. Cool. I think Shadow Assassin Kane does have an interesting niche as, like, kind of like, you can use him to just poke, arguably. But him actually dealing meaningful damage is nice because we haven't seen him. He's been so overshadowed by Rost. Heal upon entering terrain is for everybody, plus bonus AD, so that's just a general Kane buff. Nice. That's true, but I'm trying to, like, carve out the niche of me being the best source for, like, amateur play. And obviously, I think Kassadin would be a much better champion in general at higher levels, right? But little Timmy and IBS probably shouldn't be looking at this champion. Even though he's simple to play, even... okay, let me run back that statement. I will research it. We will find out. I'm going to walk back that statement. I don't know if that's true. Anyway, cool. Kane buffs. He's kind of annoying as, like, he's still a strong counter jungler. It'll be nice that Kane players might feel like they have more options again. Lilia. Greatly increased their synergy, gaining more power than expected, so they are... Hurt her tankier builds more than AP builds. Oh, but they're taking out 15 base damage. Because I was trying to read this. It's minus 15 at rank 5. It's plus 5 at rank 1. Okay, they're just hitting base damage. They're just hitting base damage. Makes sense. Malphite. Okay, another champion that actually doesn't hate the current state of components because he is one of those champions who gains damage from just building raw stats, like armor. I'm not going to comment too much on this because, like, Lilia players will play her anyway, and I'm a little out of the loop on what happened to her. Right. Oh, I thought there was a W change, too. Ever since we nerfed his wave clear by taking away his ability to rush Immolate. By the way, they didn't do that. You can always rush Bombies and sit on it, as we said. So, literally, plus 10 up to plus 30. So it's 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 base damage. Plus 10%. Guys, we know what happens when, like, you give someone plus 10% on a fucking armor ratio. We just saw it with Thornmail, right? We just saw it with Thornmail. Also, it's cheaper to cast. Yeah, Malphite's fucking broken. Just... Please pick Malphite if you have, like... Please pick Malphite when you're allowed to pick Malphite. This champion's amazing. He's been amazing for such a long time. And now they just keep buffing him. And, like, they didn't take away his ability to rush Immolate. Like, we just need to re-optimize him, so. Similar to other tanks, Malphite has been missing Sunfire Aegis, which increases his ability to effectively clear minions in jungle camps. I'm actually going to find out tonight. I'm going to be playing Maokai tonight in the jungle and just see how it feels. Because I'm just taking other people's word for it right now in terms of how tanks struggle to clear in the jungle later in the game. They are increasing. So is this walking back the nerf that he just received like a while ago? Whoops. Because this is the big nerf that I said harmed top lane Maokai more than jungle and support Maokai a while ago. Like, Saf magic nerfs always hurt the highest income version of a champion. Or of this champion, I mean. Yeah, this is almost fully walked back now. So at least in terms of raw stats, Malphite's back to how he was, or Maokai's back to how he was, like, in terms of top lane. Based it, and then he also got, oh my god, that's a lot of damage at rank 5. That's a lot of damage. And they also buffed Sunfire, which I'm still trying to re-evaluate in my mind, but he can also, Maokai can also do the, bombies into Jaksho. He can also do the bombies into Radiant Virtue, right? Isn't this just way too much goddamn damage? Bonus damage to monsters also went up by 40 at all ranks. Okay, I'm going to be trying Maokai again, because Maokai, I mean, this champ is simple to play, and he's been such a staple in low-level amateurs, even as he got phased out, even mid-level amateurs. Like, even after he got phased out at Worlds, he's just so simple, and, like, yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. We'll have to watch. I think this, like, implies Maokai should be one of the better tank junglers, one of the better tank tops. Because who else competes? Malphite is insane. Xante is insane. Top lane. I need to reassess Sejuani's jungle clear. I shouldn't be making any claims like someone's the better of anything, because my tier lists are all out of date, and I need to, like, get back into that study. But Maokai sounds like he would be very good. He was, and in VTS, we got the most frustrating thing ever. So you know when people are like, yeah, we figured out how to play around this champion, and then they don't elaborate? So we got that a lot from, like, VTS interviews. And I mean, his win rate was also kind of poor at Worlds too, right? Like, Worlds was trending towards a 5-threat meta. And Maokai's not a threat. Maokai is a facilitator. So. Wildcard regions were playing him a lot too. Yeah, true. I don't know. So I was never convinced by that whole, like, we figured out how to play around him thing. This champion does, like, he is consistent. I wonder if people were building comps around him incorrectly, because there's a lot of situations where he's defensive. He's either a flank initiator or he's a defensive champion. So, I don't know, we'll find out. I think this is a lot of damage, and I think he sounds amazing for the levels of play that are relevant to us, right? Mordecai. Rest in peace. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. See ya. Bye, Jungle Mordekaiser. I would like to be wrong about that, but, like, that seems damning. That's, like, because his entire power was just insane clear speed, right? Mordekaiser kind of values access to his teammates, but... And I guess he's also easier to pick in the jungle because he doesn't have to deal with any bad matchups, so in the rare situations where Mordekaiser ultimate sounds awesome for disruption. Oh, but then also, yeah, you know what? No, there are some obvious downsides to running him as your jungler, like your smite bearer going away on an objective fight, stuff like that. But I guess in that sense, his only value was clearing really, really, really fast and having a few more valuable pick conditions, and now that that's gone, that feels awful. Okay, Shyvana. Shyvana's been blazing through the new jungle thanks to preseason changes that makes camps healthier, increase the damage output of her E. What do you mean? You can't in one breath say all tanks are weak and then in the other say tanks are seeing more play. You can't do that. But either way, Shyvana's doing less damage, and her tank builds rely on this damage, and her tank builds already got weaker, and now, yeah, she's definitely, like, more of an AP champion at this point, like Demonic Embrace, stuff like that. more like Mundo, he becomes a crazy brick wall, power clears, runs at you. That's true. He actually does generate... Okay, so he could also be like a tempo aggro sort of thing. That makes sense. As long as he gets like some sort of setup. He's got like similar conditions to Darius, I suppose, but a little different. He's just supposed to clear as fast as possible, generate a resource advantage, like stat check you. That makes sense. Yeah, but that makes this harder, and so that doesn't change the conclusion. This one says Shyvana is definitely trending more towards like AP builds. Sure. I'm not going to comment too much on this one beyond that. Scion. He got a lot of base mana, a lot of mana growth, and plus 10 damage on Decimating Smash. Now, I've always failed to... Minoshi! Thank you so much for the for the Prime. Thank you for getting rid of the ads. I really appreciate it. Welcome back to the Quindicate. Are you free in like 4 hours to do a demo run of my new video? I did hear Baus, actually. I'm just trying to figure out what this means exactly. Because like the base damage can be perfect. Thank you. I know. I was trying to figure out how exactly this works, right? So now it now does 40 to 120, and it will deal up to 70 to 330. And actually, the wiki is usually kind enough to like... Oh no, maximum base unchanged. Maximum base unchanged. But that's maximum base. This is maximum base damage increase. Oh, so it's easier to just stand there. Well, I mean, this also does give Scion significantly more access to his Q. Doesn't change picking conditions. I think Scion's matchups are too... I think Scion's matchups have to matter at most levels of play. Because the interactions are like you either can dodge Q or you can't. I mean, sounds nice. I think Scion might be a little underappreciated. Fuck, I need to really, really update tanks. Scion also has access to immolate, like, early bombies into components. I think a lot of tanks, like, should just accept early weakness and build for 2 items rather than 1, and just build their first component to, like, get through lane. That's, like, the basis of my component theory. But... I have 20 minutes, guys. Ooh, how much do we have? Ah, there's Zeri. Actually, no. We can get through the rest of it. It should be fine. I'm sorry for this being really rough because, again, I'm rushing and I'm trying to, like, relearn how to approach the patches from a different perspective. So, this sounds nice, though. Like Scion players should feel quite a bit better about their early laning, I think, right? I heard Scion has pretty devastating mana issues, and, like, we really, really don't want to rush Fimble. Like, we don't want to build Fimble Winter in Season 13. We really don't. If we're already struggling, we don't want to throw a tier on top of that. Like, that feels awful. So. Shield or Blade? Oh, wait, was Scion so dependent on mana? Like, he had so many bad mana issues, he had to build Corrupting Pot every game? Oh, my God. I didn't realize they were that bad. That's huge for Scion's power, actually. Just gaining access to a better item. Like, Corrupting Pot blows. I am reasonably sure Corrupting Pot just sucks in current League. Like, I haven't seen it gain a lot of value since the Doran's Ring changes. Okay. Syndra, since her mid-scope in patch 12.19, Syndra's been slowly gaining win rate and popularity. Yeah, she's amazing. Her scaling is nuts. I've watched her, like, QE someone and they died. So, Transcendent upgrade, which comes on, it's now 12% bonus magic damage. Scatter the Weak cooldown is longer and the ratio is down. Fixed book review. Okay, so they're just reducing Syndra's damage because she's scaling way, way, way too well. I think that's reasonable, especially since she can get the executes. Don't think that'll change her popularity or pick conditions at all. She's just gonna be less, like, outright busted, so she'll still be very strong. Like, I don't think that can matter too much. Tahm Kench is getting some weird stuff. AP Tahm Kench croaked a little when preseason changes made it to him, resulting in the Kench being downgraded to the bench. Yeah, he never became a thing. On hit and on cue bonus magic damage is now... Oh, that's gaining an AP ratio. See, if you want AP Kench to exist, that'll do it. Actually giving him an AP ratio on the most consistent source of his damage. That'll do it. Plus 10% AP. The... Ooh. 2% at all ranks on percent missing health for the self-heal. And Kench's durability was already pretty solid. Plus 25% on the most unreliable spell he has. Damage stored as gray health is up 2% at all ranks. It's up 2% at early ranks in increased. So they're slightly buffing it. I don't think Kench really needs... I mean, okay. So Kench isn't weak because of his own durability. His own durability is amazing. Kench is just finding it hard to skirmish against supports in the current meta, and his top lane has been really weak ever since this. But I guess, I wonder if that's enough to offset the E changes. Plus 2% AP on Devour. Decays by 50 health per 0.25 seconds after Devour has ended until gone. The shield absolutely lasts longer. It's like it's minus 200. But the shield can actually last longer. I know a few Tahm Kench players who would be really interested to try him top lane again, because the first thing that I think is, like, I wonder, I mean, I know it's only 2%, but I wonder if this plus the additional damage on, like, an AP demonic-oriented build, like, if you start Doran's Ring, build a tank item, like, you could go, like, Yaksho Demonic. Heartsteel Demonic is kind of a noob trap, as we've discovered, but, like, I wonder if this actually gives him value. He won't gain more value until support changes a little bit, but, like, I've really got my eye on him top lane now. He's going on the watch list. He's going on the watch list. Trundle has apparently been doing insane. Riftmaker Demonic. Do we like Riftmaker? Can we rush Demonic instead? I can see the Omnivamp. Oh, the Omnivamp allows him to heal off his passive, right? More? Oh, that's what Leeching Leer does. I don't hate that. And I'm a big Riftmaker hater, so I think that's actually cool. I would love to explore that. Okay, because if Kench, we know the lower elo you go, the more top Kench is a problem, especially when he's viable. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, I'm excited to try those out. So, Trundle lost a lot of base attack speed. I'm trying my best. I know. Look, we're almost at the bottom, Jules. We're almost at the bottom. I'll be there in practice in 10 minutes. That is minus 5% damage on Subjugate at high ranks, which we don't care about because that wasn't the value of Trundle Ultimate. The value of Trundle Ultimate was the Resist Seal. Aw, okay. That's fine. Thank you for the Prime, Ben. Really appreciate it. Welcome back to the Quinn. Base attack speed, we'll have to check it with the pets, but, like, Frozen Domain. How much is Frozen Domain giving him? Like, do we care? It's giving him 30% bonus, which actually, no, because his ratio didn't change, right? Yeah, his ratio did not change, so Frozen Domain is still giving him the same amount, and I bet this, I mean, if it slows him a little bit, but I'm not comfortable making any sweeping, like, statements on his clear speed without, like, actually seeing what he's doing. I'm not a Trundle player. I should maybe become a Trundle player, but here we are. Yumi, I already read these on Twitter a long time ago. They were useless, right? Yeah, who gives a shit? AP Yuumi is still untouched. Who cares that Yumi's leaving the reliability threshold? She's still buying enough time for her, like, to actually get out of there. Like, she's not popping this off cooldown in most situations, especially since it already scales. It just scales back. She's not popping this off cooldown in lane. Like, no. Hell no. This isn't happening. Yeah, Yuumi is a nightmare. I do like her in theory. I like her a lot in terms of, like, being an enchanter who can facilitate dive comps. Like, that's a cool premise. But Yumi's just been a problem for so long, and this isn't going to do anything. They say they're reworking Yuumi long-term. I'm interested to see where that goes. Although I have to admit, playing Yuumi is kind of fun. Zac. Isn't Zac low-key, like, performing amazing? Again! Rush the immolate! Like, look! All of the patch notes say these champions aren't rushing immolate, failing to account for the fact that players should be smarter, and, like, we can adapt, and if we're really struggling without immolate, we can just build the immolate. Like, she's still an untargetable enchanter. Neat, and I hope it feels healthier next time. What did he get? 1 second off stretching strikes for clear speed. Base damage is significantly higher. Zac already has, like, good damage, right? Healing per chunk is going up at, like, late ranks, so that's more of a top lane Zac buff. This should be a good Radiant user, right? Zachary. Okay, I'm not confident making any, like, big thing. This doesn't sound like it does a ton unless Zac's damage just becomes a big problem, which it long-term might. But that's only, like, 1.5% max health increase on a cooldown that is still quite long, so, eh. True, these are Zac support buffs. These ones are. These ones aren't. Okay, Zeri. So this is really exciting to me because this is the first time that a champion who released during the time that I was properly studying and trying to understand the game entered meta, left meta, and then came back. So I actually get to use my old experience with Zeri, and my old experience with Zeri boils down to one sentence, which is whenever Zeri is at all playable, she is excellent. Just straight up. Whenever Zeri is good, she fits into any composition. Like, she's shorter range Jinx, right? She is, except, like, more versatile. She is so safe. She fits into dive, she fits into front to back, she fits into flank, she fits into fucking siege, arguably. Like, she fits into so many compositions. She is so easy to pick. And the only reason we can't play her right now is because she's just a caster minion. She's a caster minion in the early game, and then just is an auto attacker. That's not good enough. So what do they do? Base move speed up, base AD up by 3, not bad. What did it used to be in, like, her heyday? Because that is going to tell us if Trinity builds are good again. Oh. Oh. Base attack damage increased. Reduced to 50 from 53. Okay, so it used to be 58. It used to be 58. But that was her hotfix. No. Okay, so it used to be 58. And she definitely was not... Total base damage reduced. I need to look at the rest of it, though. Because she got some Q base AD, right? Base armor is up, base health is up, attack speed ratio is up, HP growth is up. Fully charged basic attack is now a greater AP ratio, which won't matter in a lot of cases. This should make the shield stack worse with other move speed sources. Yeah, multiplicative to move speed, they clarified that on Twitter already. Move speed duration is down. Okay. Q range is down. So it's 750 skill shots, which is not it's not 750 range auto attack. It's shorter than that. Nasha rush into Jack Show, new meta. That sounds really funny. The base damage is doubled at rank 1. It's +7 all the time. The AD ratio is going up early and staying the same late. Damage, W damage is now physical. Physical damage is increased at later ranks by 20. The AD ratio is up by 30%. The AP ratio is down. Cast time is now a bit... it's now, like, fixed, and I think it can get, like... That sounds smoother to cast. It's faster, but it takes longer for the beam to come out and to do its damage. I don't know how the AP... I don't think the AP matters, to be honest. Like, AP Zeri... I mean, because especially... AP Zeri mattered off this, and this is the ratio that's going down. So I'm not building her for a fully charged auto attack every once in a while. Spark Surge. Okay, cooldown is back down a little bit at early ranks, which is nice. Lightning rounds are magic. For 5 seconds after using her E, Zeri gains lightning rounds, and her Q burst fire will deal additional magic damage to the first target hit. For 5 seconds, you just do more damage. So they're trying to incentivize Zeri to dash forward and become less safe so she can do more damage. Bonus magic damage to first target hit with lightning rounds is 20 up to 28, plus 20% AP. I guess, like, there's some in here now. Plus 12% bonus AD. Wow, it's a lot more damage. 12% bonus. Damage is increased up to 65%. Oh my god. Wait, she does a lot. She does a lot of damage. 20% AP, I guess. For 5 seconds. I guess that could make sense. Pierce damage is actually way higher early. Vision while sliding on terrain up. Lightning Crash. They've moved the magic damage from here, and it was 5 to 15, and now it is... oh my god, it's so much higher. It's so much more damage. Chain Lightning range is up. On-cast magic damage is up by 25, 25, 25, plus 30% AP, plus 20% BAD. If Zeri's R hits at least one enemy champion, Zeri gains movement speed, attack speed, and chaining shots for 5 seconds. So the Chain Lightning gives you more than... Wait, they changed it. They have not capped it at... Zeri Nami's new Lucia Nami, Zeri E with Nami Mandate. Does that proc it twice? Is that considered 2 instances of damage? We should test it. That would be funny if it did, but that doesn't scream... It's not the same as, like, Vigilance to me. Right? So originally this was written as though the... Wait, this connects... Hitting enemy champions grants Zeri overcharge. Zeri grants point... I mean, yeah, okay, so originally it was written as though Zeri's Chain Lightning can expire while her movement speed cannot. It looks like this is still just fully infinite. So, doesn't matter. We'll find the build. Zeri's great. Zeri's great. Just... This is actually really interesting, though. Because it now forces Zeri players to make a choice. It's, do you want to be safe? If so, you're dealing less damage. And I think that's actually a pretty smart direction to take Zeri into. I like that a lot. That's way more balanceable. Okay, so what do we try? We have to check the Trinity builds again. This is implying they want to keep her on crit builds. Zeri sound... So I don't have time because I just realized it's almost 8 o'clock, and that ding was like an invite to a game that I have to join because it's time for practice, and I haven't even finished my dinner, but so be it. We also have a few tiny things here, which we'll check. The pets, I heard about this. They're now... the bonus health ratio is down, but they're gaining armor and MR ratios. Cool. That actually kind of sucks if we're trying to build Immolate, though. After their first evolution, jungle companions will consume 2 bonus treats, so that's cool. Bonus treat gold is down because junglers were earning too much gold. Are we streaming practice? Not my intention. No, I am going to leave. Because I usually, out of respect to my teammates, try to keep it away from content. But I will be streaming more once my video comes out, which, but front to back deep dive releases on Saturday. I'm going to be promoting it a lot tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday and like trying to get the word out on that one. It's a really long video. And it's why you haven't seen me at all this week. Jungle camps, the attack range is off. The leash range has changed, so I'm gonna have to check those out. I heard double camping is kind of possible again on like Red Raptors, which is neat. Experience multiplier is going up, so you can gain more experience at later levels. Cool. That's everything. So just to kind of like go through this again very quickly, nothing changes here. Rav Hydra should still be reasonably good. I need to reassess my stance on Sunfire. I'll believe it when I see it on Jungle and Mumu. Cho'Gath, the changes are very minimal, except Mage Cho'Gath is even better. Mundo actually looks cool, and it looks like his identity has changed, and he actually has some scaling value, which is exciting, and we'll have to see what happens with that one. Xante, virtually unchanged. Kassadin, theoretically much better, but a lot of players at mid-levels can't really take advantage of him because they have to survive. Kayn, cool, Shadow Assassin options. Lilia, I mean, damage changes a little bit are kind of hard to assess, and they won't change pick conditions. Malphite's fucking broken. Maokai looks pretty reasonably good, and I'll be trying him. Mordekaiser, Rip Jungle Mordekaiser. Shyvana, the AP builds are now, like, noticeably better, and this just kind of sucks to lose because this is what, like, full tank builds were relying on entirely. Sion, this actually gives him a lot more options, and his lane phase seems like it should be more stable. Syndra, does a little less damage, but it shouldn't matter because her damage is so overwhelming. Anyway, Tahm Kench, we're excited to see if some top lane stuff comes out of this, especially like AP variants, maybe Riftmaker stuff, which I didn't think about, so thank you, Paradox. Trundle looks kind of negligible, unless this attack speed really matters. Yuumi, KEKW, no change at all. Zac appears to be minimal unless this just makes his damage really overwhelming. A little concerned about this if you're like a top laner and healing too much. Zeri looks like she's going to be quite good, and we'll have to like really dissect these numbers and figure out what her build should be. This insinuates they still want her on crits, but we obviously should give like Rav Hydra, Bruiser builds the time of day. We maybe should check some AP builds, but I'm really concerned that that's just too unsafe for Zeri. So AP sounds fun and funny, but I would probably rather go towards physical Zeri. We'll check the tanks and make sure those have changed, and I'll get my real opinions for you guys later. Those are the things that I think we need to test. I am sorry to have to cut it off so bad, like quickly after having not been here all week. I'll see you on Saturday for the front to back deep dive. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to love yourselves, respect each other, and I will see you all next time. Take care.